we've seen NFL to UFL guys, some of them dominate, some of them are absolute trash. Again, Anthony Brown, he had some hype. He looked really good in the preseason and was terrible. How much that was on coaching, how much was that on the roster, you be the judge of that. I'm not going to fall for this absurd hype of saying this team's a top 3 quarterback room just because of DTR. Again, last year with Kellen Mond, I said, hey, it's a boomer bust prospect. Now, I do think DTR is going to be better than what Kellen Mond is. I do agree. I think that he is more fit to play at this level than Mond was. But again, every other team has at least one guy I can say that I have watched with my eyes be good at this level. None of these guys have. One of these guys I watched not be good at the preseason level, and one of them is Hank Bachmeier. So number 7 is the Storm. Number 6 is going to be the Houston Gamblers. This is one that I debated maybe putting higher. This one was kind of really fighting with 7, honestly, but it ended up coming down to Henderson versus DTR. At the moment, you got to pick Henderson. Henderson is a guy that has never gotten a full-time shot. In very many ways, he's sort of becoming the new Jalen McClendon. Not to the same extent when we get to McClendon, we'll talk about the fact that he was clearly going to be a great quarterback and he never got a shot. But Henderson has come in multiple times and consistently been far better than the guy he replaced. He's never gotten a full shot, whether it be to injuries or just timing, but he's always looked solid. He's never looked incredible. He did look slightly worse than Jalen, but that was only slightly worse than McClendon. And he looked at how well better than as a starter. So he is something that it's like, he could be something. Now, Hunter Deckers is one that is a very interesting one. He ended up being in this, underage gambling scandal thing of betting on stuff, which ended up basically barring him from the NCAA. He had to go to a community college. And he still was talented enough to actually get a shot in the NFL in the preseason deal. So this is something that has some potential, which is a big reason why I'm putting this team above number 7, because I do think that Deckers is, of the 4 not projected starters, he's the best. And then when you look at Donovan Smith, he is the local guy. He was the starting quarterback for Houston in 2023 for the full season, and he was good. He wasn't great, but he was good. He was a solid player, and he also played for Texas Tech before a little bit, so this is a Texan sort of guy that's been there. And so it's a good sort of fit where you have the local guy, the guy that's been on the team for a couple of years, and you have the wild card Hunter Deckers. I think this is a team that really could have some solid quarterback play. Now, do I think it's as good as the teams above them? Obviously not. A lot of that is because starter for starter. I do think Henderson is probably, of the 6 main starters that came from last year to this year, he is the guy I'd put at 6, honestly, in terms of if I'm going to pick the starters, right? When you look at Teamu, Perez, McClendon, Corral, Silvers, Henderson, I'd take the other 5 guys ahead of Henderson. That's not because I think Henderson's bad. It's that I think the other guys are better. This is, bringing back Anthony Brown, which would have made this team go to 7. But Henderson is a solid quarterback, but he was a weaker quarterback than McClendon. And I do think that he is a weaker quarterback than Silvers, especially considering that Silvers now going back to working with somebody he has worked with before. Hunter Deckers, though, solid option. This is where the quarterback rooms start to be somewhat deep. So number 6, the Gamblers. Number 5 is going to be the St. Louis Battlehawks. This is another somewhat tough one. Really, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 5 and 6, and 6 and the other one. But go with number 5 for the Battlehawks. Now, the biggest detriment is Harrison Frost. Harrison Frost is he is a quarterback that has played football. You know what I mean? Played at Mercer and West Georgia, so not like he played at any dominant school. He was at the Sea Dragons, but the New Cheese team didn't do anything. And was with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, it basically did nothing. He does have a minimal amount of actual college experience as a coach with Virginia as a grad assistant, so that honestly could be something that helps a little bit. Obviously, this is mainly Woolridge and Silvers. When I look at Woolridge, he is somebody that only really had 1 year as a legit starting quarterback, and that was 2024, his last year he played, which was in OTAs. He had 2,400 yards, 17 to 16 interceptions for each year, 66 completion percentage is solid, but he's at Louisiana.
Westward for here we go. We're going crush. Tough, new Tundra or Tacoma. Get 0% for 72, and they'll save us until summer. Lease new Tundra for $299 or Tacoma 169. And I'm buying your gas for the first 90 days, and I'm loading the 75 liters in the back of each one. And you know where we are. 75 Campbell, Total Riches.
Louisiana, and it's not like he was insane, but he was the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year. And his best year was the last year he played, and he is something that you can say, hey, this was his first year as a legit full-time starter. If this was, let's say, 2023, and then 2024, he had that other season, he could have been more. So I think there is some potential there. Even though he was Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year, it's not like his stat line was otherworldly or insane. But he is something that you actually can say, hey, there's potential there. It took him a while. When he finally did play, he looked really good. Maybe if he plays again, he'll be even better. And then Brandon Silvers. Again, it's not showing the postseason stat, but obviously his postseason game against the Defenders, he played for like 2 drives, scored 2 touchdowns, got hurt in the team zone. They literally put up like nothing outside of what Silvers did. And even last year, in the limited time he played in the regular season, he looked incredible. Silvers is one of those guys who